Okay, we're going to enter a field visit and add a gauging. So we want to go to our open sites again. In this case we're at below where, and we're going to go to the gumboots, which is the field visit tool. So when this starts up, you can see the last time a visit's been entered here. So we're going to add a new field visit, and the date we were there, which was the October the 28th, at looking at the log sheet 11:15. So that'll load one here time, and the party was myself, DK. And the remarks, we're going to put everything basically that we've recorded on the log sheet. So what have we got? An ESG equals 1.971. The EPB equaled same. The primary logger equaled 1.971, and the backup was 1.973. We also carried out a biennial site inspection. So up here you see there's no measurement activity at this point, so we want to add our visit. So if we go into back to new, add a measurement activity, and in this case here there's no ID associated, but activity name was, so this is our primary reference, our EPB in this case, because it's stilling well. If it's a bubbler, you'd obviously use this ESG there. We're going to code this at this stage as working. We want to add our reading. The time it's picked up from our entry before at 11:15, and we want to enter a stage reading, and the value was 1.971, and we're going to grade that at this stage as 200 no quality. So that's added a value, just after our site reading at the time we were there. So now we want to continue to add to this our gauging. So we're going to go back here and add an activity from file, in this case, a Wind River file. And you'll see this will then ask us to, let's go back to where our gaugings are stored. So we'll go to our gauging and Stream Pro in this case, site 59, 28th October, pick up our file. Standard comment comes up here. Do you want to continue? Yes. Okay, so it's now imported our gauging. So we want to put in our ID here, which we can get back from our gauging card, or in this case here, which was 113428. 113428, and our measurement activity is a gauging. Again, we're going to leave it as working. And the only trick now is, as you see the discharges, the times here for the 4 or 6 sections we did in this case, and it's filed that as the mean 11:30, but the stage is still at 11:15 at the start of the measurement. So we want to put in the same stage, or maybe a different stage if it's been rising or falling at this time. So we need to add at this point another value, a stage value. So if we go up to here to add an observation. So, and our time in this case will be, let's go to 11:30, which is our mean time. It's not water temperature, it is stage, and their value was 1.971. 1.971, and our grade again here is 200. So after we've done that, we need to have this down to the aggregated results, because it's still got the old stage here. So if we go over to here, which is aggregation details, there we go, and you see it's got the two values here, the one at 11:15, but the one we wanted at 11:30, so we want to uncheck that, check this one. So that will now be our default reading here. It's brought the grade down from above, the value, and the time of 11:30. So now we've got a stage and get discharge filed at 11:30. Site visit here. Okay, just another point to note here, the staff gauge reading here, in this case 1.971, should usually have, in most cases, plus and minus. And it could be, 5 millimeters. So it's good to note that, depending on how, good or bad the site is and where it's located. The other thing is, even though we have a manual reading, 11:15 in this case of stage, the EPB reading, we can still have our time, start and end time. We arrived at 11 o'clock, left at 11:30, but our actual reading is at 11:15. And lastly, if you've got time, try and add in here the stage for zero flow. So if we're leveling, like we were leveling that day, which we forgot to do, we could have added in the stage for zero flow here by surveying that in. And any control photos too, which we need to get in the habit of doing. So once we're in here as well, we can also add hydrometric field notes. If we open this one up, you'll see our gauging's been added. Because we did biennial inspection, we want to add our survey results. So let's get back to where we've got those stored. And survey results 5/9, 28th of October, and we'll also store those in there. And while we were there, we also took some photos of those benchmarks. So again, back to where we stored those. Photo archive. And that is under benchmarks. So let's add, there's our primary one here. And back to maintenance notes and add the benchmark 2 there. And back here, and we'll add the benchmark down by the river. So we can add them all in there for a reference for the future. So once that's done, we can save and exit. And then our file in there, if we go back, we'll see they're there. So that's it, done.